Hello and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. I'm Claire Pride, filling in for Annette Young. Coming up, she's closer than anyone's ever been to becoming America's first female president, but Hillary Clinton's struggling to win over young female Democrats. David Cameron's the target of a Twitter storm for saying Muslim women are traditionally submissive. I'll be speaking to the campaign's organizer. And we meet people affected by India's recent ban on surrogate services for foreign couples. Now, ever since she set her sights on the White House, Hillary Clinton has been counting on the support of women. But in New Hampshire, she lost the female vote to Bernie Sanders. This after two feminist icons, Madeleine Albright and Gloria Steinem, were accused of undermining feminism for chiding young women who don't support Clinton, a self-described glass-ceiling cracker. Ellen Gainsford reports.
She was there to support Hillary Clinton, convinced a Democratic candidate would make an excellent president. But Madeleine Albright's comments highlighted one of the Clinton campaign's failings, her lack of support among young female voters.
We can tell our story about how we climbed the ladder, and a lot of you younger women don't think you have to, it's been done. It's not done, and you have to help. Hillary Clinton will always be there for you, and just remember, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help each other.
But not everyone was laughing. Her comments created a backlash among some young Democrats. Another feminist icon, journalist and activist Gloria Steinem, also offended the youth vote. In a talk show interview, she insinuated young women supporting Bernie Sanders only went to his rallies, looking for young men. These headlines won't be helping Hillary's strategy. Unlike her 2008 campaign, this time around, she's focusing on how close she is to making history.
Certainly in the last election, Hillary was seen as somebody who wasn't a change maker. She wasn't innovative compared to Obama. This time around, she's really making the case that she is change, and she's changed because, frankly, she's a woman. She would be the first female president. She views things differently, and she would represent women differently than any man would.
But this change of tactic doesn't seem to be working in her favor. In New Hampshire, 55% of women voted for Bernie Sanders, and that figure was even higher for voters under 30. Yet the former Secretary of State is rallying after this early disappointment.
I know I have some work to do, particularly with young people, but I will repeat again what I have said this week. Even if they are not supporting me now, I support them.
Clinton still has a few weeks left to prove herself to young female Democrats before Super Tuesday on the 1st of March.
Moving on to David Cameron causing a backlash with comments on Muslim women. As he announced a fund to provide English lessons, Britain's Prime Minister said more Muslim women should speak English to integrate better. And Cameron reportedly said in private conversation that Muslim women are traditionally submissive. Next thing you know, the hashtag traditionally submissive is trending on Twitter, and Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling is retweeting some of the pictures to her millions of followers. Joining me now from London is Dr. Sukaina Hirji, the woman who organised the traditionally submissive Twitter campaign. Hello, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the 51%. Now,
thank you for having me.
We don't know if David Cameron actually used those very words, and the Prime Minister said he wasn't suggesting a link between a lack of English and extremism, but clearly his comments have angered and offended a great deal of Muslim women. What compelled you to launch this campaign?
Yeah. Well, I took David Cameron's comments really personally because he took an issue about a certain percentage of British Muslim women not being able to speak English, a figure which actually I don't believe is entirely accurate. And then he linked this with three very complex issues such as female genital mutilation, forced marriages, and radicalisation, all of which are very complex, and you cannot attribute those just to Muslim women, some of them having an issue with not speaking English. So I was very offended by that. And also, although there is no confirmation that he said those words about Muslim women being traditionally submissive. There is actually no denial from him either. And that suggests that he displays a complete lack of understanding about Muslim women and about our faith. And actually, our faith does not require women to be submissive. And the examples in the Quran, and also those given by the Prophet about how he treated women and how women were in his day, actually does not give us any tradition that we need to be submissive. It is not related to Islam or Muslims at all.
But critics of this campaign say that it's one of educated, privileged British women, and it doesn't really do much to help Muslim women in countries where they have far less freedom and far fewer rights.
Well, I would say, firstly, with regards to this campaign, actually, Muslim women from across the grassroots, from many different backgrounds, ethnicities, education took part. We had grandmothers, students, stay-at-home mums, as well as Muslim women from different professions. So looking at the campaign in the United Kingdom, it was quite broad-based. Looking at Muslim countries and Muslim women abroad, actually, I think we in the West sometimes have quite an arrogant outlook to them. You know, for example, I just take one fact. You look at the representation of women in the parliament in the UK, it's actually 22.7%. If you compare that with Oman, actually 18% of parliamentarians in Oman are women. If you look at university students in Iran, 60% of them are women. And also, if you look at Indonesia, which is the most populous Muslim country in the world, they had a woman president in 2001. So, I mean, I think we also have to change our perception of women, and particularly Muslim women in Europe. We should not see ourselves as saviours of them, because that's actually quite patronising. Muslim women in Muslim countries are actually doing a very good job themselves in trying to empower themselves and actually doing a lot in terms of political activism. And that is something we, of course, should encourage. But we should not say that, you know, Muslim women across the world are actually, you know, quite subjugated across the board. They are not. You know, that's just generalising.
What about Muslim men? How have they responded to this campaign?
It was really interesting. A lot of them took part and posted along with the rest of Muslim women, you know, about something quite funny or humorous that, you know, for example, I'm sitting here looking after the kids and doing the laundry while my wife's out, you know, having a coffee with her friends. So a lot of Muslim men did get involved. And actually, they were quite offended by David Cameron's comments as well, because if you're saying that Muslim women are traditionally submissive and are oppressed, then what you're actually implying by that is that Muslim men actually oppress their women and are misogynistic. And that's something that, again, is not true.
Dr. Sukaina Hirji, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much, though, for your time.
Thank you.
To India now, where France 24 looked into the effects of a recent ban on surrogate services for foreign couples. Since few countries allow commercial surrogacy, thousands of surrogate babies were being born in India every year. But the government believes that poor, illiterate women are being exploited. The fear now is that surrogacy will be pushed underground. Surabhi Tandon reports.
In a few weeks, Lalita will give birth to a child for a foreign couple. But surrogate mothers like her will soon be out of business.
I feel that what has happened is not fair, and it affects people like us the most. Foreigners can pay more, we earn better through them. This decision was just wrong.
Lalita is talking about the Indian government's recent decision to ban surrogacy for foreign couples.
It's really sad. Not only the couples are getting not coming, but every day I'm refusing on an average 5 surrogates who keep returning that we want to become a surrogate, and we said now we don't have patience and we cannot do.
Cheap medical costs, skilled doctors, and a steady supply of surrogates made India one of the most popular destinations for surrogacy very quickly. But a sudden boom also led to the growth of a massively unregulated industry. However, the decision to ban instead of tightening regulation has come under severe criticism.
Way to go ahead for the missing gaps is not a ban, because that will create even a worse market, a black market, underground surrogacy where everybody could suffer. What are the missing points? how we can keep a check on it, counter check on it, documentation, notification. That would be the right way.
But while Dr. Patel might run a tight ship at Akanksha Infertility Clinic, the situation is not always transparent. Almost 3 years ago, we visited a facility in the city of Hyderabad, packed like sardines in temperatures well above 40 degrees. A lot of the women there were clueless about what they had signed up for. The O'Connors in Dublin, who we spoke to via Skype, have already had a daughter through surrogacy in India and wanted to come back for another.
This was our last chance of having a family, as with the thousands of other couples that travel to India. And it's changed our life, of course. So deeply, deeply saddened and very annoyed that this ban has come into place.
The ban has already triggered a fierce debate about the ethics of surrogacy in India, and the future for all stakeholders remains uncertain.
A victory for equality and a victory for common sense. That's how Unite, the union for British Airways' crew members, has described the airline's decision to let all crew wear trousers. Until now, new rules meant women recruited after 2012 had to wear skirts. Only those with religious or medical reasons were exempt. After a 2-year battle, union said BA was joining the 21st century. Ryanair has yet to make trousers available, and female crew at Etihad don't have that option either. Right, that's it for now. If you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can, of course, head to our Facebook page or send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. Do keep those comments coming in. I hope you'll join me again next week.